Welcome to Hack the Real Size podcast with Heather, Ashley, and myself, Keira, where we like to delve into the personal journeys of people in the acting industry, as well as a little side of cheeky banter. And today's guest is the delightful Katie Fry. We're very excited about this one. Katie Fry is a British actress, and she's been in the BBC One drama From Here to There. She's done TV presenting, she's done writing, producing, and been a stand-up comedian. So this girl is one to watch, and not just a triple threat, but like quadruple threat, everything threat. How are you doing today, Mace?
Do you know what? Can you just follow me around and say that every time I come in a room?
Hells yes, I can.
That would just
Run
make it so good. Right.
So the setup of tonight is I will start with just some ridiculous questions. I would say to get you warmed up, but we've all been chatting for ages, so I think we are good to go anyway. And then Heather is taking the middle section.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Ashley is taking the end. So we'll talk about how you got started, how you got your agent and things like that, how you got your first role, and also about how you like to prepare for roles and looking at the sides and things like that. All good?
Okay. I can't stop smiling. I'm so excited. Yeah, let's go. Let's do it.
So I will start with my ridiculous questions.
Okay.
They're meant to be quick fire, but if it's anything like me, this is a Saturday night, my brain isn't working that fast. If it's not quick fire, it's okay. If you need to think about it.
Terrible at these games, but let's go. I'm ready.
So we can edit it and make it seem really short.
Oh yeah, do that.
This girl has got such a quick wit.
All right. Okay.
So first question. Who was on your wall as a 90s heartthrob?
Oh God. No, from Hearsay.
What is it?
Hang on.
It was a band.
Oh my, really?
No, yeah. And there was a guy from A1, Mark Owen from Take That. There was many. Jake, do you remember California Dreams?
Yes.
Jake from California Dreams.
I used to love him. Oh,
Clearly, Ashley, you and I are really old because
we're just like smiling at. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. California Dreams, just let me lay here in the sun until my dream is done.
I'm pretty sure I looked up that theme tune on YouTube a couple of months ago.
Yeah, like Sister, but with surfboards.
It was so good. Well,
never mind. Right.
That's what you guys then, isn't it? What job would you think you'd be absolutely horrible at?
Oh, so many.
And don't say teaching.
I would be horrible at cleaning. Fills me with no joy, nothing. I have no. Oh no, football ball person. Terrified of footballs. Terrified.
Football person.
Yeah, you know the people.
Football person.
You know the football people that throw the football. Terrified of them. Terrified. There's a reason why, but terrified. Any ball.
I think we need to hear the story of why you're terrified.
Can I just clarify that you're terrified of the balls, not of the people whose job it is to throw them?
No, the balls themselves. So like
fine.
any general balls, like footballs, tennis balls, other ball.
Make a joke, Ashley. I can see it on your face. You want to say it.
Tell us about the balls that you.
The balls that I'm afraid of.
The ballophobe.
Right, yeah, ball phobia. So I used to be a TV presenter, and I used to be a TV presenter for Blackburn Rovers Football Club. So I used to go out into the middle of the pitch mid-game and do like, not mid-game, not while they're all playing, but like at half time, and I'd like do competitions and interviews and stuff. And they like I was friends with quite a lot of the players like at the time. And I used to find it like joyful to kick the ball at me because they knew I was scared. But I had this big, massive ball that had loads of like raffle tickets in it. So like people around the stadium like would like pay for like raffle tickets throughout the game, and then they'd all go into this big ball, and then I had to pick out the raffle tickets and then like tell them the winner was this person, whatever. And they were all trying to get the ball, so all the raffle tickets would go everywhere. But the big ball was right next to me. So I just get balls flying at my head all the time. Terrifying.
Please tell me there is YouTube videos of you presenting.
Maybe. I'm on Sky Sports all the time. Whenever they do like recaps as well, I'm always there somewhere. Yeah, it was a cool job. If you like football, it was a really cool job because I got to like mix with some really cool people. But I'm terrified of footballs.
Terrified of footballs. Well, there you go. What song is guaranteed to get you on the dance floor?
Biggest Bon Jovi girl you'll ever see.
No.
All right.
Bon Jovi song, I am there. Any hip hop song, I am there. Anything.
Anyone in particular?
Kevin Little, Turn Me On. Great song. Phyllis Long.
I think you're gonna have to sing it for me because I can't think how it goes.
No, I can't. I should say I have had a glass of wine and I'm not a big drinker, so just
good interview.
I love it.
This is perfect.
Something about turning me on. I don't know. You'll have to.
I actually know which one you mean. But I'm not gonna sing it.
Yeah. We'll play it in. We'll play like or can we do that? Maybe Great. We'll play it in. A little
I love music in general, so Disney would get me up on the dance floor. Anything, I'm not. I will just be dancing.
Well, we know that for our meet-up in the summer then. How to get her on the dance floor.
Easy.
Can't wait.
One glass of wine.
What historical figure would you like to go back in time and spend the day as?
Pride and Prejudice times.
Oh, yes. Okay, it's like Jane Austen.
Yeah, I love a real like fancy dress that I could just pop about in. But I don't really have any boobs, so it'd be nice to see if they could push them up enough to make it look like I had them. I'd be interested in how it would work. Just like
a great course. So you won't be able to breathe, but your cleavage will be.
I can't be like, hey,
dance floor.
Probably not
that trend back. We're gonna do it.
Yeah. So that time, I think.
That's awesome. Who would you have, Ashley? Who would you want to go to see, or who would you want to be?
God, I mean, that is an awesome question. There's so many people. My first thought, actually, the first thing that came into my mind was Queen Elizabeth, because I really studied and read a lot of her stuff. It's kind of a I did. I don't know. I just want to see if it like what it was really like, because I feel like there's truths and there's myths, and I just would like to know those secrets of how she ruled.
Well, I'm only giving you a day, so good luck with that. You'd have to do a lot of spying and a lot of research.
You know me, I can ask a lot of questions.
That's true, actually. You could get a lot of shit done.
We have a timeline, and we would get it done. It's fine.
What about you, Heather?
Oh my gosh, I don't know. There's so many different options, but I mean, I probably kind of like Ashley, like back to like the medieval king and queen time, because I'm just like, I love those shows, and I'm just completely fascinated by it. And I guess because like in the US we don't have that like history tied here, like the royalty and stuff. Like I'm just like astounded. And I know you're going to cut this part out because this is a horrible answer, so now you have to.
I'm leaving it in. We're gonna now.
So I thought it was good. I think I would like to go back and be like the actual Lagertha shield maiden. However, I feel that I would unintentionally change the course of history, because in my first battle I'd probably die in like 10 seconds. So they'd be like, oh, she was really good at fighting up until like yesterday. Like, what the fuck happened to her?
That's a great, I'd love to do. That's a good shout.
It would be really good if we weren't having a battle on right now. Like if I didn't have to go into battle, if I could just parade around with a sword and like Viking men, that'd be fine. If I actually had to do anything, it could end really badly.
Yeah, I would love to be back then, but I'm such a wimp. I would be like hiding. Like, I mean, because I always tell my students, like, I would love to be like a queen. Like, I just, and then I go off on my British accent in my classroom. But then I'm like, but then I would be like so scared to like eat anything, drink anything, go anywhere. Like, there's no lights. You have to use candles. Like, I just wouldn't leave my quarters at night. I would just sit in my bed in my quarters all night.
Boring. Is there an alcoholic drink that you cannot touch anymore after having way too much of it on a night out?
Bacardi.
Is it?
Yeah, without even a shadow of it, like, yeah, horrific.
Like straight up, I know that was Bacardi.
Even now when I smell it, and I had the incident was when I was like 19, and even now when I smell it, I'm like, get it away.
Oh man,
it's funny how it sticks with you.
Yeah,
it does. I was gonna say that's like everyone has an immediate answer to that one. Mine is Goldschlager.
Oh.
Yeah.
If I smell something strongly pepperminty, oh, or
Mine's
Jaeger.
Sambuca or like Jägermeister.
Yes,
sort
that's
of
my
an
other one.
anti smell.
Your Meister would be bad.
Yeah.
My mouth is watering right now thinking about it, and not in a good
Sorry.
way. Not in a good way.
I shouldn't have said that. Let's move on from that one. La, 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 la. Who would be in your ultimate boy band? Now I'm thinking like 90s. I know that you like your 90s, early 2000s music.
I mean, Noel, obviously, frontman.
From Hearsay.
Yeah.
Not Gallagher, because that would be weird.
No, I do love Noel Gallagher, but I don't think he'd want to be in this band. No, Gary Barlow, because love him. The dude from A1 with the curtains. Keira, you're the only one who's going to know who these people are.
I know who you are.
How many people do I have to have in it?
Well, however many you want.
Oh, Shane from Westlife, because he was fit. And
He'd help with the key changes at the end.
Yeah. And Kian from Westlife, because why not? He's lovely.
I love that you've gone like all Brit, like you've not thrown in Justin Timberlake in there, or anyone from Backstreet Boys, or Usher, like
New Kids on the Block.
Yeah, Heather's like, damn it.
Sorry, and I actually do love NSYNC and Backstreet Boys. So wow, and O-Town. Just
I remember O-Town. They had like one hit song like for a year.
Liquid Dreams.
What a blast from the past that is.
I love it.
God, there's so many songs we should play in this.
If I was to summon you just using black magic, which 5 items would I need for each 5 corners of the pentagram? Which 5 items would summon you up?
Oh my God.
Oh lordy. Like what's me?
Yeah.
That would bring me. A cat. A candle, a little theatre sign. Probably if you put Tom Hardy in there, I'll turn up regardless. To be fair, I'll just show up. So whack him on one of them. That'll work.
Screw it, you don't even need any other 4 things, just shove him straight into the pentagram.
You put Tom Hardy, Channing Tatum, what's that guy called from Sons of Anarchy?
Oh, Charlie Hunnam.
Put Charlie Hunnam on there. I'll show up regardless. And then 2 others.
This sounds like a really good party.
Candle on there, just get.
I want to be at this black magic. I definitely want to be at that.
To you, I will not let you down. I'll be there.
That sounds awesome.
That's great.
We need that, definitely. What film would you remake using just the Muppets with only 1 human character? So what film do you think would be good as a remake with the Muppets?
Oh my God. Well, I hate sad films because they destroy me. They I think about them for months and months. So let's say something like Armageddon. Not that it's an awfully sad film, but the end, I just can't bear it. So
it would be a human actor.
Human.
Yeah, because in the Muppets, they always have 1 human, don't they?
Let's put Mark Rowley in there. Let's see how he does with the Muppets. Let's get him in. He'll be great. He'll love it.
How's he do with the Muppets and the meteorite about to kill her? How do you think he'll do
it? He will love it. He loves imaginating and stuff. Like, he'll love that.
He does. What role is he going to have? Is he going to be the Ben Affleck character or the Bruce Willis? Or the Liv Tyler? I mean, let's not put stereotypes.
No, let's not. I think like Kermit's probably the best one for the one.
Which one, sorry?
Kermit's probably the one best to stay up there. So
yeah, Bruce Willis.
Mark come home.
Mark will come home. I want to see him like rolling in that scene with Miss Piggy. You know what I mean? Like they're confessing their love to each other, and he's like playing with her dress.
The animal crackers.
I want to see Mark doing that. If he can't make this happen, I can't with him anymore.
I think we pitch it.
I definitely agree with this. This needs to happen.
Oh my God. We should just have a podcast of us just making insane movie ideas. Seeing if people will come on.
Well, how much more sad is it going to be at the end when, I mean, spoiler alert, guys, if no one's seen Armageddon, when Kermit dies.
Does he die? Does he?
Well, but he's a Muppet, so they can't really die.
They could just float.
I don't know. I think I remember the end of the film correctly. Do I not?
Well, I mean, it blows up, but what if he's like encapsulated by something and he gets like off to another planet?
Hello. How does he speak? Hello, I'm back. I don't know how he speaks. That's not Kermit. That's
like me doing a British accent.
That's more Mr. Bean. Hello.
I really want to attempt to Kermit, but I'm really not going to. Really not going to. The question that we like to ask everybody, because it's very topical with, you know, everything that's been going on. How long do you think you would survive in a zombie apocalypse?
Oh, I do well. I have watched all of Walking Dead and Fear of the Walking Dead. I have got this. I honestly, when I go to bed at night, I always think my house is zombie secure because I have blinds that go down my windows so no one could see in. I've got double locks on my doors so no one would break in because they're a bit thick, aren't they, when they go all zombie? No one's gonna be able to climb up to. I will sort you out, girls. Come here. If there's ever a zombie apocalypse, I'll sort you.
I love it.
Not even a hesitation. I've got this. I love it.
Moral of the story is, with Katie's secure house, Heather's zombie knowledge of being a zombie, and my machete, and Ashley's organizational skills, we will.
And I have a samurai sword.
Organizational skills.
That's it. That's all I bring to the table. It's fine. I'm okay with it.
Do you have any weapons, Ashley, that we need to know about?
Don't. I would be terrible with a gun. I don't think I would be good with a knife.
Yeah, but you can organise when we go for stuff. You could be like, right, guys, look,
Yes.
I've sorted out a schedule.
Yes, a schedule. She's very good at schedules.
And make sure I've labeled the pantry. Make sure you put the dry goods, canned
rotation.
Yeah.
They would have like nothing would expire because I would know. Like,
don't underestimate the need for that in a zombie apocalypse because, you know, otherwise chaos will reign.
Yeah. Yeah. You are an integral part of this. I can't say integral because I've had a glass and a half of wine. Integral.
Switch the word out. Use your own words. That's what we learned.
You're a big part of this, Ashley.
Exactly.
A big part of this plan.
Exactly. Don't sell yourself short, okay?
Don't do it.
Thank you very much for answering my ridiculous questions. I am now going to pass you on to the more than capable hands of Ashley.
Yes, Katie, we're going to ask you where you're from, where you grew up, and how you got into acting.
Okay. All right. Okay, so I'm from Blackburn in Lancashire. I now live in Manchester, which is about 45 minutes up the road. I've always been into acting, so I was Mary in the Nativity when I was younger. Just throwing it out there.
No big deal. No big deal.
Biggest credit to date, that actually. I had 2 lines, and I'm pretty sure my dad tells me that one of the lines I waved at him as I said it.
You were a diva from the get-go then.
I was like, hi guys.
You're just acknowledging your biggest fans.
Get this on camera. And then I went to high school and I did drama GCSE, and then I did A-levels. I did 6 A-levels over 3 years because I went to drama. I applied for drama school in my first year, and I didn't get in. So I went back to college and did 3 more A-levels, and they were all either drama or dance or theatre studies or film or media. They were all related. Very pigeonholed, but I've always known what sector I wanted to be in. And then I went to Salford Uni, which had a drama school, performing arts department, which is like a place in Manchester. And then from then on, I tried my hand at acting, and I've done various different evening classes and night classes over the years, but that's how I sort of got into it.
How many schools did you apply to that first year when you didn't get in? And then what was your process? You said you went back to school and then just continued to train basically, but what was your process of trying to get into those schools? And then once you didn't, did you come back and say, well, I'm going to do this and this and this, and then try again? What was your process of that?
Well, I've always been, I've always known what I wanted to do. So I applied for, I think, 6 in the first year of me trying. And then I got recalls for 4 of them out of the 6. and then I got down pretty far to a couple of them, but I was a really young, like 18-year-old, like really, really young in like my head. I had a very, very lucky to grow up with a very wonderful childhood, but very sheltered childhood. So I didn't have any life experience at all. And it really, I was a pretty crap actor until I was like, I would say early 20s. Well, maybe 19, 20, I started to find myself a little bit, but I was not good because I just didn't know anything. I didn't, and even my perception on acting was completely not right. It wasn't real. So when I look at like some of the younger kids that are like doing the actors community now, and like they're like 19, 20, and they're like really good, I'm like, wow, like that's a God-given talent. Because although I was like a dancer growing up, so I professionally danced for a while as well, and I was fine with that because I'd grown up doing that, but I'd had so little acting experience, and my acting was shocking. Like, if I ever made it big, there'd be some horrendous footage heading out into the world, like horrific. So I didn't get in that time, and then the next year I applied again to the same ones, and I think I put a couple of different ones in there as well. And yeah, again, I got pretty far with some of them, but I didn't get into like any of the prestigious ones. So I then made the decision to go to university. Like what we would normally, like in England, is like a standard university, which was really good. And I met some of the best friends that they're like my brothers now, a lot of them, and I would never change that for the world. And I think it was just the way it was meant to be. I just don't think I was old enough to handle a proper drama school when I was that age. I don't think I had the maturity or the capability to succeed anyway. So yeah, that was my little road into.
No. And so you just, after that second time, you're just like, well, I'm going to give it one more shot, or were you just?
Well, acting or applying for schools?
Well, both, I guess. Did you decide, well, I'm not going to go to drama school, then I'm just going to do regular university and then look for an agent that way, or try to get into acting on your own?
Yeah. So, I went to Salford Uni. I did 3 years there in a media and performance school, and I did a degree in performing arts. So I had acting, dancing, and singing on there. And I think I just decided that I wasn't overly great at rejection when I was younger. And I think I just wanted to go somewhere that had accepted me, and I felt I could probably cope. And yeah, because I was a little bit old, like I was a year older than some people that were going as well, but probably emotionally I was probably the same age. And then so then from then on, I graduated, and I started applying for agents. But I was so naive. One thing that the acting school, well, drama school university never taught me was how to survive in the real world as an actor. You were almost so, they just didn't tell you anything, so you could believe what you wanted to believe. So I honestly thought I was going to leave uni, I'd get an agent, and then I'd be fine, I'd be sorted then. I had no idea how hard the struggles were going to be, and I knew that people like say, oh, it's really hard, and you're going to have to like really try, and I was like, yeah, but clearly I'll be fine. And it was, they just didn't prepare me at all for it, and I that's one thing that like I quite like when I speak to younger people. I really like, obviously, because I teach performing arts now in a secondary school, and my college kids, so the ones that are about to go to uni, I try and tell them this stuff now before they go, so that they know what they're heading into, because nobody's told me. And I think I spent a lot of my early 20s not going about it in the right way, because I didn't know what the right way was. I had to find out a really difficult way. Do you know what I mean?
Do you care to share some of that advice that for anybody that's younger listening, or maybe even starting out later and trying to get into it?
Sure. So you girls know me from the actors community. And I would first say, join the actors community. And I say that with complete sincerity. It has changed my life, that play, that whole company is incredible. And I wish I'd have known about that when I was 19, because I think I would have been on a very different path to what happened to, you know, for me. I can't speak enough about it. I am a massive champion of it. And I just think it's incredible because I think it's real. I think they're inspiring. They're real about it. They teach you the things the techniques that you really need to know, because a lot of stuff in particularly in universities, when it comes to like drama, you know, I've come out and I think, was that any use to me? Like, you know, some of it was great, don't get me wrong, but in terms of real acting process, and if you want to be a real screen or stage actor, I've not learned more than I have learned than I've been with the actors community in the last year. So I would always say to somebody, get yourself a good acting school that isn't university. Go to evening classes that are for stage or screen. But I would honestly say to anybody, join the actors community. They should be your classes that you attend. You don't need any others. This is a place that will give you the most. And I've been to many, many, many evening schools, by the way. So I say this with some experience of trying them out, and I don't mean any disrespect to any of them, but this is the only place where I felt like an equal. I felt like we're all actors and we're all practitioners. We're all trying and learning and developing. And I think, like, you know, Mark will be the first to say he's constantly developing and learning, and you know, and that's what I love about it. I love the fact that we're all equal. Doesn't matter what experience one person has against the other person. We're all trying and we're all learning and we're all developing. And that's so empowering to feel like that, because this industry survives on people feeling like they're better than you are. And if you let that get into your head, it can really, really damage you. And I, you know, so that would be my first thing. We would be join the actors community. I would say, do what you love, find things that make you happy, enjoy the journey of it. Don't put all your hopes and dreams, not go for it, absolutely go for it, but also find things that make you happy, so you don't put the rest of your life on hold because you're waiting for this thing to happen. Like, because, you know, I'm sure that it will happen and it'll be amazing, but there will be some tough times, because acting is a hard job to be in, and you'll need to ask any professional actor who's done really, really well, who will still tell you the same thing. You know, there are good times and bad times, so you have to find the things that make you happy, and whatever passion that is, you know, and find that other thing whilst pursuing acting. I'm not saying one has to go on top of the other, but just don't put your life on hold for this one thing. Find that balance. And be productive. Like, don't sit and wait for something to come to you, because it isn't coming. You're going to have to put that thing out there. Get on talking to agents, you know, find out how to get show reels, headshots, speak to people, make those connections, and just chip away at it. And consistency really is key. And also develop a thick skin, or learn how to deal with the rejection, because once you stop worrying about that, it is completely empowering, and it's just so uplifting to not have to worry about that side of it. And that takes a lot of practice. And I had an ex-boyfriend who I was with for the majority of my 20s, and he was quite a successful actor, but the rejection side of it, the insecurity side of it, he could not deal with at all. And it eventually stopped him from acting, because he just didn't handle the no's well at all. So and to the point where it starts to affect your life, it starts to affect who you are as a person, and it starts to affect the relationships around you. So I know it's a really serious point, but that's something that you either have to learn to live with and get on board with, or this career isn't for you, because it's too damaging to be told no. Because if you're an insecure person, or if you're a person who struggles to deal with that, you immediately go to the personals. It's because I'm not good enough, because I'm not pretty enough, because you think I'm crap, because I did a shit audition. Immediately goes to all the things that you think you did wrong, when actually it's usually never any of those things. It's about what they're looking for in a character, and you know, do you work with this person? How tall are you? What colour eyes have you got? This, that, the other. A perfect example of this, I once went for a Hollyoaks audition. You know, like, you know that music? Is it that when like a little? It was like I walked in, shook this person's hand, said hello, and he went, right, if you'd just like to go into this room. So I went to this room. This room was outside. That was my audition, was hello. Because they obviously had a very secure, they had a very definite look of what they wanted, and I wasn't it. So it was like, do, 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 hello, do, 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 do. And I was outside. And that was it.
I think the hardest thing, other than that, because that's one of the questions, is like, what is like one of the toughest auditions you have, is that you're putting your art out there. You're putting a piece of yourself, and you're very vulnerable. But you do have to have a tough skin at the same time, because at the end of the day, and I just try to remind myself, and I've heard it a million times, this is a business. Like you said, at the end of the day, it's not necessarily about your craft at all. It's about what they need. And it doesn't mean that your craft was shit or you weren't good. It just means that it didn't fit what they had in mind. And one of the hardest thing is to audition and they not look at you. I feel like that's the toughest thing, because you're just like, in your head, you're like, I'm bombing, you know what I mean? But you're still just giving them what you've worked on for, if you are lucky enough, for days, you know what I mean? So I guess, like you say, you have a tough skin. So what did you use, or what do you use when you have those auditions where you're just like, shake their hand and then you get told goodbye? You know what I mean? Like, what do you do now?
That was just ridiculous. I'll be honest, it's taken me till I've got to my 30s to realize, to get to it. Like, it took me a long time. And partly, you know, I think if you're auditioning like 2-3 times a week, you get more practice at getting used to saying no. If your auditions are a little more sporadic, every time you get a no, it's like a dagger in your heart, because you feel like, I've waited so long for this. And, you know, and when you have a passion that you really, really love, you just want to be able to show it. You just want to be able to do it. You know, I don't have a husband, I don't have children, and I can tell you now that is because of acting. And that's a sacrifice that I made, that with hindsight, should I have made? I don't know. But I was not prepared to get a proper job, because I kept getting little bits of jobs that would tide me over money-wise, to be able to pursue this thing that we love. At some points it was going really, really well. Some points it was going tremendously bad. And yeah, you know, I think it's taken me till now to realize that, actually, like you said, Ashley, it's a business. And it really is. Like, listen, I'm one of the most vulnerable people, like, in terms of like, I think I've spoke to you girls about it before. We've been in class together. I will immediately go for class and go, was that all right? Was I crap? Was I good? Was I all right? What did I do? And I still have that need to be reassured that I'm doing all right. But I'm now mature enough in my brain where I can sort of go, no, you need to be responsible for your own reassurance here. Like, you know, you prepped that, you know, you can do. And I think we get so used to telling ourselves we're not good enough. Like, in society, we're not pretty enough, we're not good enough, we're not this, we're not that. When actually, that's absolute bullshit. Like, it's the worst mentality that we can get ourselves into. But it is the society that's around us. We're constantly fighting this thing of, because everyone, you know, everybody's, the first thing is go, oh, you know, don't say that, because I'm shit, or I'm this, or I'm that. I think what the real power is being able to look at yourself objectively and go, okay, did I do a good job there? Yes, I did. Okay. Did I prep it as much as I could? Yes, I did. Did I, you know, try my best? Yes, I did. Okay. I've done my bit then. I've done as much as I can do there. And then if there's one where, did you prep it? Not really, because I was in a rush, so I just learnt the lines. All right, well, okay, don't give yourself a hard time, but that's probably why you didn't get that job, because you've not really thought about it. So I think it's just being able to be realistic with yourself enough to be able to look at yourself and go, no, I did a pretty good job then. and know that that's okay to say. Like, it's fine to be honest with yourself enough to go, no, I actually did really well then.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you don't get it, well, sort of their loss, really.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you look at yourself and you think, no, I could have done better there. Right, well, what do you need to do for next time to make it better? But it has taken, I wish I'd have known that back when I was 19. And I wish that someone could have explained that to me back then, because it would have made things a lot easier for me. So yeah, that's something that I now do a lot of, is I try to look really objectively and be able to be honest with myself enough to say, how, you know, it's okay to say I've done a really good job there.
Yeah.
And then also be honest enough to go, no, I really didn't do enough work there, or I could have done better there.
Mm-hmm.
And not like have this downer on yourself all the time because that's what people expect you to say, or that's the society norm or whatever. Because it's just it's toxic and it's no good.
Yeah. And I think like during this time, out of all the bad that's happened, some good things have happened. I mean, I think that the fact that, you know, self auditions at home have become the norm. You know what I mean? So, excuse me, as scary and I'm like, oh my God, like I've got to do this at home. I just can't go in and do it. There's some goodness behind that as well. And then you get to, you know, tape yourself and then share it if you are lucky enough to have a community, which I think has been one of the best things to come out of this, is that like we all know each other. We're in all different parts of the world, you know, and we're able to share our craft and get that, at least the feedback. Because a lot of times you do these auditions and then are they ever seen? Are they watched? You know what I mean? There's just like, what happened, you know? So I think that that's some good that's come out of it. Like, what have you done with quarantine and self-taping and things like that?
Oh my God, are you ready for this answer? Because this is where I'm going to get completely fangirl over the actors community. But I honestly, genuinely and truthfully, you know, when lockdown 1 started, I just started a new teaching job. So I think subconsciously, I told myself this was it for me. Like this acting was over for me. I was done. Like, because it just clearly wasn't working. So I decided that I was going to grow up finally, because I am like Peter Pan. I am the child that never dies. I will never fully grow up. I don't believe in it. I feel like you should be a child forever in your heart. But like, you know, I wanted to. I'd had the relationship I was in for like nearly 10 years had broken up, and like 3 years previous. So I'd completely started all over again. So I was going through the process of buying a house. I just bought a new car. So in my head, I was like, this is serious grown-up stuff. You need to stop pretending to be an actor. And you need to grow up and just face facts that isn't going to happen for you. And you do get, you know, you get older and you see that your friends are getting married and they're having kids, and they're all live very different lives to me. And I was just thinking, oh, you're just gonna have to, you need to, this is now where you need to have a bit of a word with yourself. And then I watched Last Kingdom, and then I followed Mark on Instagram, and he started going on about this actors community he was going to set up. And I was like, oh, I wonder what that is. And out of nothing other than curiosity, I just thought I'd have a look at what it was. And then he said he was looking for 12 people to do his first ever advanced acting course. And I loved Last Kingdom. I don't really fangirl over many things, but I loved that show. And I loved Finan. I just thought he was such a good character. So like, I went to follow him on Instagram, and I don't normally do that either. I'm not a big celebrity chaser or anything like that. But because I loved his character work and I loved his acting, I thought, I want to know his name. I actually thought it was called David Dawson for ages. That's what I thought his name was. So I went to find David Dawson on Instagram, and then I was like, oh, that's not him. And then I found out his name was Mark. So I followed him, and then he said he was going to do this. So I thought I might as well apply. So I applied, and then got in. And there was 12 of us that started it. And like I said, we were from all over the world. There was like 2 of us from England. One was from Scotland. And then the rest, or 3 of us were from England, sorry. And the rest were American or Canadian. And it was just the best experience I've ever had. Because first of all, I didn't expect Mark to be doing the class. I thought he's put his name to it, but somebody else will be doing the class. And then he pops up. And he's like, yeah, oh my God. He's like, I can't do a Scottish accent, so I'm not even going to try. But he was like, I'm so nervous, you know, guys, I'm so nervous. I was like, you're nervous? Like, what do you mean? I've not eaten for 12 hours. Like, I was petrified, because it was like, it's actually like, it's like him who plays Finnan, who's a successful actor in his own right. And I thought, wow, what a good idea to have people who are actually working in the industry teaching you their process, their own process that they make a living from. And I mean, forgetting the fact he is like one of the most loveliest people I've ever come across. I just found the whole experience completely inspiring. And because we were in lockdown, I could spend the time like doing these classes and looking at agents again, and like, you know, making new connections with people. I have a friend, Steph, who I met on that first course, who's one of my best friends now. Like, I Zoom all the time. Like, you guys are making plans to come to England. I'm planning to go to Canada as soon as I can to go stay with her for a bit. Like, and, you know, but it was just amazing that we all found this one thing that we love. Doesn't matter where we are in the world, doesn't matter how well somebody else is doing and how beginner somebody else is. We were all learning and developing together. And it was so like wonderful. And then I met Eliza, and oh my days, that woman is just pure sunshine. And again, absolutely knowing she is just no ego about her, the sweetest, most positive, lovely person. And I started learning accents. I started learning proper processes for acting characters, like processes that have actually made my work and my commitment to characters a million times better than they ever have been, because they've rooted me. The things that Mark has said to me, like he always says, documentary mode. Every time I film a scene now, I think documentary mode, tell the truth of the story. And that's made a massive difference to naturalism for me. Like, I always think, you know, be truthful, and also find the hope in the scene. I think because I'm really Mancunian, or very Lancashirean, I don't know what the term for that is, Lancashire, you know what I mean?
We'll make up a word, it's fine.
Northern, because I'm like Northern.
I
have a tendency to be a little bit monotonous in my voice. And, you know, it's just been, what was my point? What was my story before that?
Finding hope in the scene.
Just asking you about just about like self-tapes and how you've like developed those, and how like lockdown basically you've kind of like gone
yes, sorry, I do go off on one. I told you.
No, it's good. It was good. It's good feedback. It's good.
But I was like, so I learned accents. I learned proper processes, and it was all because of lockdown that I could do that. I was making friends from all over the world, which I still have now. One of my friends, Chris, you guys know him, he's a freaking stunt guy. Like, when would I ever make friends with a stunt man? And he's like, you know, it's amazing. And again, everybody's just come together as a community. So then self-tapes came around, and, you know, if people have a job, a 9-to-5 job, this is allowing them to still pursue their passions, because they don't have to go to an audition in London. They don't have to spend half a day traveling to and from somewhere. You've now got the freedom to do it in your own home. And that is amazing for potential actors, because what the society, what the industry demands of you when you're not a successful actor is basically be available whenever we call you, get to your auditions. Doesn't matter what job you've got, you need to be there. And if you're not there, we'll drop you from the agency. Whereas now, your self-tape needs to be in by this time. Here's a script. There you go. So Actors Community has taught me about self-tapes, which is amazing, because I'm one of the most technically inept people you'll ever meet. I hate technology. It scares the life out of me. But now I know how to do that. And, you know, I think you guys that have been in a self-tape class with me will know about my interest in angles with self-tapes. Like, one was a chin shot. It was like, let's see the double chins. Like, one was like, how many bags has she got in her eyes? Because there's layers. And it was just because I had terrible lighting, but I just didn't know. And like, even JB, who I've never met before, he was in our class, lovely, lovely lad. Like, even he was like, thank God you've sorted that out, because those angles. And I was like, I know, but he was so right, because I was like, hello, like, one of them is down here. Don't even know why. Then one of them was like somewhere around here. And then like, I've learned over time how to like I've got myself a little ring light now.
Yeah.
Myself a little but none of that would have happened had it not been for lockdown. So the reason why I've gone on for so long about that is because I was pretty much giving up on my dream of acting, whereas now it's probably more alive for me than it has ever been. And that's purely because of lockdown and because of being able to be part of the actors community.
And I love your story and you sharing that, because there's going to be so many other people who are at that exact same moment that you were at, you know, and now they know that they can keep pursuing it, because all it takes is one little spark, you know, to almost like find that renewed sense of passion or just hope.
Yeah. And but that's what Mark always says, is that, you know, he said it only takes one audition to change your life. And also, why is it that we get to a certain, I think it's particularly women, but why do we get to a certain age where we think, okay, I need to stop doing what I love now. I need to grow up. I need to get married. I need to have kids. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love my godchildren more than anything. And, you know, if I actually think you guys and how you've got your lives together is so inspiring, because you've done something that I couldn't do, in that you've managed to find a balance. You've found someone that you love and you've had children. And that's a massive part of life for a lot of people. And I've not managed to find that, you know, or I sacrificed that. So I had that opportunity when I was like 28, 29 to go down that road, and I didn't do it. And
your fate was meant to take you down.
Yeah.
And we've done it the other way around, in the fact that we've done the marriage and the kids, and now we're having to start from scratch to try and get into the industry, in an industry that does not look kindly over women over 35. Let's be honest, doesn't really look kindly over women over 30. And we're having to start from scratch and go, hello, anyone want to see us? So I think whatever way you look at it, if you're a woman, you're kind of screwed, unless you're early 20s and super pretty.
But do you know what? When we're not, but we're told that we are.
Yeah.
This is the thing. There's something about society that makes us like, okay, come on, guys, come on, girls, sort yourselves out now, settle down, get yourself this, do this, because this is what you should do.
You need biology.
I also, and you know, if you're not an actor or if you're not in the performing arts industry, people say to you, do you not think you should probably get a normal job now? Do you not think you should, like, you know, do you not want to get a house? And I adore my house. But a lot of the reason why I got that was because I thought I probably should. I'm 34. I should now have a house. I should have certain things. So I went down that, and I would never, ever not have it now. I love it. But I did that because I felt like that's what I should be doing at my age. And I feel like I should have a proper job and I should be doing this, that, the other. Well, why? I'm not bothered about fame or anything like that. If I can make a living, or if I can make even a partial living by getting to show up with a group of like-minded creative people and create something and just laugh and feel that joy, that's my life. Like, that's what I want to be doing, you know. And I don't see why we have to put these limits or barriers on ourselves. And I will never do that again. That was like a massive lesson for me, was why am I doing this to myself? And then, you know, did you watch is he called Chris Hitchin? Were you around when we watched that?
I did. Yeah, that was the very first person they had on the actors community for their free. But back then they called it In the Room Live.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
He was 40 before he got his first massive break in a film, and he'd given it up. He'd stopped working for like 20 years as an actor. And then something happened in his life, and I can't remember what it was, but something happened where he decided to give it another go. And then he got this audition, and it changed his life. And he'd stopped doing it altogether. And I remember saying to Marco, sometimes I just feel a bit too old. And he was like, watch the thing with Chris Hitchin. He said, because it's just not a thing. You're only one audition away from changing your life. Yeah. And I think that's such an inspiring thing to be. And I think I mean, you four, like I've said to you before, I just think your talent is unbelievable. And the fact that you're relatively new to this whole thing blows my mind. So you must absolutely keep doing what you're doing, because you just don't know where you could be in 3 years' time. Like, wow. You know what I mean? Like, literally, all three of you are incredibly talented. It genuinely really shocked me when I found I honestly thought you were like seasoned professionals. I really, really did. And it really shocked me to find that out. So I just think we just have to do what makes us happy. We have to do what gives us joy, because what are we here for otherwise? What's the point of life if you're not going to fill it with the things you love? Do you know what I mean?
I think we just all need to write like a show and perform it.
I think with COVID, honestly, I feel like, at least being around the women and the men, but I feel like a very strong pull with the women that I meet in the community, and how we're like all different ages, all different levels. And we're starting off and we're like, hey, let's work on this. Let's collab with this. Let's do this. I really feel a strong force. And I really feel like there's going to be some changes. And maybe it's just me hoping, because I put things in the universe, a little crunchiness of me. But I think there's going to be a change. I think there's going to be like, you don't have to sacrifice like what you want to do. And this is my motto. This is an Ashley Kittle model right here.
Oh, sweet.
Unless anybody is paying your bills, you don't have to do anything that you feel like society makes you do. So if you feel like society's like, I need to buy a house, anybody who wants to pay that bill, they may do it. And then you can have your house, but you do you.
Absolutely.
Like, you don't let someone else tell you how to live your life. And it took me a long time to be like that, a very long time. And yes, we had kids and we have husbands or whatever, but I'm not going to be sad about it. But I feel like I should have let myself have this passion way back then. But I kept like putting it underneath, like you said, you talk to some people like, oh, you're going to be an actor. Okay. And it's just like, it's not just about being an actor. It's not just about that. It is being creative. It is being inspired. It is talking to someone and not realizing you're going to laugh for a whole hour before you do what you're supposed to do. Like, that's why I love this. And that's why I love the community. And that's why I feel like I'll be 95, Betty White style, doing this and hopefully doing it. And I don't want to ever have to choose. I don't want my daughter or my son to have to choose with what they want to do in life either. So they just got to do it.
And you know what? Who's to say what defines an actor? Like, do we have to have passed a certain test to be an actor? No, we don't. We have to be creative and we have to be acting. You know, any time we do a scene, we are actors. You know, and it just gets a bit sweeter when you start getting paid for doing that. You know, and the more you get paid, the better it comes. And you move the goalpost, don't you? You always move the goalpost of what you achieve. But that's what I love about the actors community, because we are all actors. It doesn't matter what experience you have. It doesn't matter what background you're from. It took me till like I was 30 to get to this place of feeling quite at peace with going, yeah, I'm always going to try to act. I will be Betty White, absolutely, because it makes me happy. It's the only thing that gives me pure joy. And to surround yourself with people who feel like that is really empowering. And, you know, yeah, this whole, you know, you're going to be an actor thing. Well, I already am an actor, actually. Thank you. So just so you're aware.
Thank you. Right. I also want to say, I'm like, oh, do you watch TV? Oh, you do? Those are actors. Those are us. So,
but isn't it crazy how like there's no other job when someone's like, oh, what do you do? That has like that same like, oh, you want to be an actor? Okay. It's no like, oh, you want to be a doctor? Okay. It's like, oh, okay, that's great. But I mean, you know, like all these other like hard professions, you know, like years of school, or you got to be super smart. You want to be an engineer? That's awesome. You want to be an actor? Okay.
People don't realize how much goes into it.
Oh my God, no idea.
I mean, I'm not taking away from the engineers or not taking away from the doctors out there, but
from the doctors. Yeah. I mean,
you're just like, oh, really?
We kind of need them, but yeah, you know.
But you do. A lot goes in it, and a lot of hours go in it, and a lot of passion and a lot of sacrifice, like you said, goes into it. But you know, just performing with you guys, just being, it has to be like a show. Although if anybody's out there who wants me to be on a show,
we'll run this.
It's just amazing feeling. It is such a good feeling to perform in front of people with like minds, and it's just
100%.
I feel like we should start a new group called like the Betty White Brigade, and it's just like women, strong women, throwing shorts and movies and stuff out there.
I know. And speaking of like coming up with your own stuff, like you said that you had written, produced and toured a play called the copper jar. And I mean, I would love for you to talk just a little bit about it, because we hear all the time, like, you know, you just make your own content. You know, if you know, that's one thing you can do if you want to work and you're not working for whatever reason, just make your own content. And you've done that. So I would love it if you could just elaborate just a little on that.
I mean, I really love writing. I've always loved it. I'm not a writer in the sense that I couldn't tell you the best way to set out a screenplay. And I wouldn't know, you know, what the technical best, I've never done a lesson in it, or like I've never taken a course, but I just love it. And I love, I think because stand-up comedy, a lot of that is writing essentially, because you know, my comedy was always very observational. So it's stuff that you see that's happening and then you make a little note of it and then you turn it into a joke or you turn it into a story and that becomes a joke. So most comedy, well, mine in particular, was based on some form of truth that then got a little bit stretched or carried away or whatever. And I love, I do love comedies. So one of my first things I wanted to do was to write a play. And I had this idea with my friend Dan, actually, like when we were like 22. And he said, like, we should just do it like in like a cafe or something. And like the people that come into the cafe and what they're like, and you know what connections they form and how they speak, and so we had a couple of conversations about it, and then nothing happened for like 6 months. And then I said to him, do you mind if I like run with it a little bit? And he was like, yeah, go for it, like, you know, do it. It was literally a couple of conversations. And I just started writing down different things. And I used to watch, Keira will probably know this, but I don't know if you guys will, a thing called Fawlty Towers, which was about a really grumpy hotel owner. And he owned a hotel with his wife. And he was so rude to everybody. And he was so grumpy. And I loved it. And so I decided that my character, who was called Dups in the end, don't know why, no idea where Dups came from. It's not a name. But he was the owner of a cafe. And then it was about all the people that came in, and about, there's an old man in there called Terry, who he came there every single day because that was his social place. He had no friends, no family. This was where he went to socialize. And then there was a couple in there who were trying for a baby, not in the cafe, obviously, that's rude, but they were trying for a baby outside of the cafe. And then there was like a couple of singletons, and it was a comedy, and it was just and like Dux was horrifically rude to everybody, but he secretly loved everybody because that was his family as well. And it was just how they interacted and they worked together, and it was a little bit sad in places and really happy in other places, and it was mainly a comedy. So I got my friends together, like you do, you get your people you know together. And I asked them to read it a couple of times. And then I said, I really want to put this on. And they were like, well, we'll do it if you want. So I was like, so I had to self-fund it. So it was just about finding the cheapest theatre that you could find that would take you, and filling it with people that you know. So you get all your family and friends involved. You ask them to, you know, sell tickets for you. I had a raffle that was, my best friend's mum is a really good baker of cakes. So the raffle prize was a cake that she made. But it was like, it was an amazing cake, but still, like, it was, everything was self-made because, you know, it was all from my thing. And then after that first performance, I think we did 2 nights of it or 3 nights of it, I realized there was something missing from it. So then I took it away and I added a new character into it and a whole new storyline that came. And then with a different cast, apart from 2 people, performed it again. And that went on like a tour. Which again, it was all me. So I had to book everything. I had to speak to everybody. You know, it was financially quite expensive, and very, very, very time consuming and very, very demanding. But like, one of the best things I ever did. And then I did a one-woman show because I realized it was a lot cheaper to do things when you just do it yourself. So I was like, I'll just write it for me this time. Yeah. So I did a one-woman show called Fractured, which was 4 different characters. They all had their own backstory and accent, and they were all in prison for one thing or another. Oh, and it was about finding about, they were all interlinked in some way or another.
Do you have that saved somewhere that people can watch, or?
No, I don't have it. I have the script still, but I don't have the I don't think I ever got it recorded for some reason. I don't know why.
You just have to film it for us one evening then. Let's Zoom it.
I will.
Yeah, we'll record
Oh my
it.
gosh, we can start a new like thing, a live Zoom performances.
So many ideas coming from tonight.
So one thing we always like to ask our guests is if you could come up with 3 words that would describe your career or your path so far, what would those 3 words be?
Wonderful, challenging, and thought-provoking.
Is there any piece of advice, although I feel like you've given so much good advice, for actors starting out, or you wish that you would have known starting out?
Yeah, literally just enjoy the journey. Do the things that make you happy always, and enjoy the journey of it, because it's a long journey, but it's a great one if you can get in the right place with it. Enjoy the journey and do the things you love always.
Yeah, and one thing you had mentioned before is like you're huge on like mindfulness and like positivity. And I mean, was that something that you came into later to deal with just this industry, or was it just totally unrelated that you were able to apply like to?
Yeah, so I didn't realize, but it came to my attention in 2017 that I have anxiety issue, and it came about because my dad unfortunately became very poorly. He's absolutely fine now, but he was very poorly at the time. And it was very unexpected and very sudden, and it kind of brought out a massive anxiety issue in me. And then I didn't realize, but I think I've always had anxiety for different things, and I just never knew what it was. Or I'm a natural worrier, so I worry about people. I worry about things that, sometimes I can't control, and that's been like a pattern throughout my life that I'd not put down to anything other than I just thought it was my personality. And then that happened, and it really, really came out in me, and I was having like panic attacks and lots of unpleasant things. And I was quite poorly. So I went to see a therapist, an NLP therapist, which is, if you ever heard of NLP, it's neuro-linguistic programming, which is amazing. And it sort of changed my life, really. And it is all about being in control of your own brain and being in control of your own thought processes. And it sort of stemmed from there, really, because it was something that was a technique that I and a practice that I took on board to help me with a certain specific anxiety. But then I realized just how powerful what we tell ourselves is. And if the messages that you're telling yourself are negative, and potentially toxic or harmful to you, then why are we doing it? Why do we allow ourselves to let these thoughts come into our head and affect the way that we live our lives? And so I just became really, really passionate about it. And like I said to you before, I really do feel very strongly about helping people. It's something that I've always really loved to do. And it's probably the only thing that gives me as much pleasure and as much passion as what acting does. So yeah, basically that's what it is. And I apply it to acting a lot. I apply it to my life in general, but it has really helped with my mentality when it comes to acting, and not trying to focus too much on, not focusing at all on the negatives, but being realistic and being honest enough with yourself to be able to analyze what's going on, rather than letting these voices, these little demons in your head, or what they call them, limiting beliefs, sort of get into your brain and tell you what you are worth or what you can do, when in fact you're capable of so much more. So that's where it came from, and it's been the best thing, learning about mindfulness and positivity and NLP has been a massive influence in my, I'd say, from 30 onwards. And that's probably been the biggest change in me, is my mindset. And I think that's why I'm so much more equipped to deal with acting now, because of that. And I would always recommend to anybody to either learn about it, or at least listen to people that do know about it, just because it can have such an effect on your own career and your own life, you know what I mean? So yeah.
And
really,
are you
really
training to be a coach now? Are you taking it further?
Yeah, I am. Yeah. So I've only just started, but I've started a life coaching course, and I'm going to do my NLP training myself. Because my way to enjoy the journey and to make my life happy will be to pursue acting, and then potentially be a coach when I'm not acting, so that I have the freedom and the flex. Because freedom is really important to me, being my own boss and having freedom to do what I want to do. You know, having the freedom to be able to help people, you know, get over whatever their barriers are and help them push forward. And then, you know, hopefully that will give me the freedom to be able to do auditions and spend the time pursuing agents or collabing with somebody else or writing again or whatever. It just gives you the freedom. So that's my long-term plan, is that.
Somebody watching this a little way down the road and thinks, Katie Fry sounds freaking awesome. I would love her to be my life coach. Well, get in contact with us and we will put you in touch with Katie, because I think she should be my life coach.
So before we go, is there any social media that our listeners can follow you at?
Yes, I'm laughing because I don't know. I'm on the phone. I'm on the Facebook.
Okay.
You want me to find your Instagram handle, darling?
I'm on Instagram. Oh, is it Kate795? I feel like that's what it might be.
Let me find you.
Kate with an S afterwards, 795.
Kate 795.
And I'm on TikTok. Don't know how to use it. I don't even know what my name is.
I don't know how to use it.
You'd be so good on TikTok. You have to start doing videos. You would be so much fun.
I will join TikTok if you get on there. And
Me too.
Betty White Brigade TikTok.
Betty White Brigade TikTok videos are coming your way. We put it in the universe. It's happening.
If I figure out how to use TikTok, I would so do that.
I will re-download it and find out what my name is, and then we'll do it.
We'll do it. It's happening.
Yeah.
Well, Katie, thank you so much for coming on our podcast today. You have been such a delight and so funny and inspiring. And you're going to have to come back on. I'm holding you to it.
Mm-hmm.
I've loved this. Thank you so much for having me.
We just make this a regular thing with like wine and Saturday nights and karaoke.
Yeah, let's just do that. Let's just chat.
Yeah.
Zoom shows and all the good stuff.
Thank
All
you
right,
so much for having me.
Appreciate it.
Okay. Thank you so much. Goodbye.